If your ink's too slow and your nib won't flow, here's one of the places that you can go. Larry is here to see you through with Mr. Announcer and Cubby too. It's Larry's Fountain Pen Reviews.
Tony, after you get to talking to the other two guests, and I need to say a few things before we go.
Oh, sure. Well, let's move on. Tina, we don't see your video, but if you'd like to let us know, there you go. And take yourself off mute. There you go. Introduce yourself, Tina.
I'm here.
Oh, there you are.
Okay. I'm Tina. I have been fountain pen addicted since about the age of 6. And I now own that pen, and it writes beautifully. Okay. So, yeah, I've been having connection problems tonight. We're having weird stuff going on. I was in the car and I couldn't get a strong connection. So I finally made it in. So good. I've been listening. I just haven't been able to talk or be on camera.
Well,
it's great to see you.
It's great to see you. And isn't it kind of funny? It sounds like we're at an AA meeting.
Football practice and it was Dave.
Yeah. Yahira?
My project today.
What's that? You're breaking up. I think I
had a project today I made on my Wisconsin catalog.
Oh.
Sorry if that's not clear.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's hard to see it.
Yeah, it's hard to see. Yeah, we're not seeing. We're just.
Let me see if I can get it better.
Oh, you did that?
You guys can see it.
Wow.
Trying not to get the glare.
Yep.
I made I glued them all up today, so now I can send out more letters.
There you go.
Dr. Joe, I do have your book. I downloaded it. It was one of the first things once I got into this Facebook thing for practicing handwriting. And that was the very first book that I downloaded to try and improve my handwriting.
Oh, that's very nice to hear. Thank you. By my calculations with Apple's statistics, and they also download directly from my site, that book was downloaded approaching 100,000 times.
Wow.
I wish now I might have put a $2 price tag. By the way, guys, before we go, in the chat section of this, I posted the image of the new Otto Hutt Series 07 pen. The difference between that and the first one I got about a week and a half ago is there's no gold plating on this. It's not a vermeil, where this one is still sterling silver, but certain parts have the vermeil on. That's a series.
What are those retail for, Joe?
This one, I think I paid Yost a little over $800 for it. The other one was more like $600 area. Can I justify that much money for the gold plating? Of course not. But again, you don't justify fountain pens. Yeah.
No. I've always said this. It would have been cheaper for me to be a heroin addict. Okay, just to let you all know, than a fountain pen addict. But if you would like to introduce yourself, you're the last one to. I don't know if she's there. She's there. There she is. You unmute yourself.
There you go.
There you go.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. It's Jahida.
Oh, Jahida.
Okay, yeah. It's 70 and overcasted out here in sunny California, San Diego.
Nice.
We just had lightning storm last night, actually. I've been part of the group for about 2 years-ish.
Mhm.
I know I owe a couple of you guys letters. The last 5 months has been, I gained some weight. I've been up and down the roller coaster with my life. I was deployed, so I came back home, and then after that, got really sick. I'm just getting over that sickness stuff. So a few of you guys who would get my letters will know why and the whole process of what's going on. Me and my husband both do pen pals, so his name is also on the address. And I own a whopping 2 pens. Me and my husband or him, we're very pragmatic with what we own. So 2 pens have been suffice for me since I don't use them often enough to have multiples. I can't use them at work because I work by the ocean. So it's too humid for me to have those kind of pens. I've already tried it once. And so the humidity doesn't work well with the chemicals of the pen itself. It makes it runny. And I don't need to have that running on my clothes because I already did it once, which is why they just stay home and I just use them out for writing letters. I've liked fountain pens for a long time. When I was in middle school, I actually liked calligraphy. So I would practice, for those of you who have seen my writing, could probably see the influences of me practicing the same letter over and over and over again. But now that I saw Tony's, I got kind of a little jealous. So I'm kind of working on getting into that level of fanciness. For the time being, I think my cursive is suffice. And then I bought some pilot ones, little ones. They were nice, but then I ended up losing them when I moved. And then afterwards, Brendan got into them, my husband. And then he was like, let's go buy a pen. And if we buy 1 pen, we buy 2 pens. So that's how we both ended up with 2 pens, because if we buy something for one, we buy for the other one.
Mhm.
So that's why, so we both have 2 pens. Our inks preferences are different. He has like 50 shades of black. I have shimmeries. I love shimmeries. They're horrible for the pen, I know, but I like my shimmeries. So hopefully will be better this weekend so I can get back onto my writing letters. There is, I don't think, no, yeah, I think that's about it I have. If you guys any, I owe you guys a text. Here, come on. Oh, he doesn't want to come up, but I do have a dog, which those of you who write to me, or those of you who wish to write, will see him. Oh, there you go. Here he is.
Oh,
baby.
cute.
Hi, sweetie.
Oh, that's a cute little dog. Is that a puppy?
No, he's actually 5.
Oh,
He's
wow.
5 years. He actually counts his food for some reason. He counts them in quarters. So we give him a full bowl in the morning and he'll eat like his breakfast as a quarter. And then at lunch he'll eat a quarter. Dinner he'll eat dinner for a quarter, and then breakfast the next day he'll probably eat the whole half that's left. But that's very interesting. Questions, comments, or concerns? I'm open.
No, I want to thank you for your service. So you said you got deployed?
Work shirt. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yes, I actually did a back-to-back. So I did a deployment in 2020. What was it? January to July. And then went right back out to I went back to the ship in November. And then just came back in May.
Wow.
So I was home for about 190 days before I went back out to sea. So.
Well, we're happy you're back safe. We're happy
Yeah,
you're back safe.
now I'm shifting gears because I was deployable, obviously. Now I'm not deploying. So it's like I'm going from 84 hours per week work schedule to
Wow.
a possibly 40 hours. Maybe I could finesse myself into 30 hours a work week. I went down to 10 hours a week for a while.
Wow.
So that's also part of the change that I'm going through, from accelerated, gotta go do this, to, you know, it doesn't have to be that much of a rush. I could take my time with it. So yeah, change of pace, change of life, a lot of changes.
We're glad to have you here. We really are. And I think when I wrote you a letter, I believe, I loved it, the fact that you have a Y in your name. And I love, you know, to be able to flourish a Y is pretty fun.
It's the thing. A lot of people make fun of me because I use a butterfly to do the Y, and the reason why I do it is because it's difficult to flourish a Y. Like when I was practicing my cursive in middle school, I would just do a swirl, because that's usually what a lot of cursive does. It'll just do a swirl and then that little, you know, bell and then down. But I figured with the butterfly, I could use the top of the butterfly to use the left, and I could use the antenna to the tail as the whopping rest of the Y, which is a lot different, I guess. Not that many people have a name that starts with the Y, but I mean, I gotta do the best. I gotta do what I got, right?
That's fine. That's great. Before I'll turn it over to you, Larry, I just want to say on behalf of myself, how much I enjoy. As I look at this, the tiles here, I think I correspond with most all of you, and I want to thank you all for taking time to write letters, because like Joe said, the cursive, just writing in general is a dying art. It doesn't matter whether you write in cursive or print or whatever. It's just putting pen to paper. There is something special about that, and I really am a firm believer in that. You know, that I've told this story, and I won't go into it for long, but you know, I was contacted from a gentleman. I had no idea who it was, who had found me on Facebook to tell me that he had a box of letters that came from a rental house that had been written, 100 letters from this gentleman to his wife. It was my uncle who had passed away back before my parents were married. My uncle was in the army in World War II. He had written these letters to his wife, and I get a chance to meet my uncle through these letters. How incredible. You know, and I knew of him, of course, through my mother, but never got a chance. I'm gonna get a chance to really know who he is. So letter writing is important. And I'll shut up and let Larry take over.
Okay, folks, need some input. Let's go back to the cross pins. How many people are into cross pins and are not? And if you're not into cross pins, why is that? First of all, cross pins, I do like the warranty. You know, I've had pins that are like 50 years old, something went wrong with it, bam, they fixed it, no charge. So any feedback on cross pins?
I've already said I love mine.
Tony, Troy?
Yeah, when you start looking at the level of the Townsend is when I think they really start to get better quality.
Yeah.
When the older cross centuries from like the 70s and in the 80s or so, much better than the present day ones that you can find, because they're really cheaply made nowadays, and they just don't even come close to what they were producing in the 70s for a fountain pen. I'll be honest with you, the Aventura and the Bailey. The Bailey is one of the first ones that I had gotten in a fountain pen as a cross. I did a video some time ago about cross and how they were really well known for being business ballpoints. Companies often would have their logo put on the clip, and that would be something they would give their employees.
Right.
When I worked for a police department, in our uniform, we had to have a cross pen and pencil set as part of our uniform. You know, the silver, if you were just a regular officer or inspector like I was, and if you were you know, a leader like a lieutenant or a captain or something, you had to have gold tone. But that was part of the uniform, and it was easily recognizable and common. And they weren't bad. I mean, I still have them in terms of the ballpoints. But the ones that I have tried, you don't really get great quality until you start approaching the Townsend level. And I've got two Townsends. Both of them are halfway decent. They take a proprietary converter, which I'm still not a fan of. I despise the idea of proprietary converters. I understand why they do it. But you can get, once you start getting the quality ones, then their upper end, you really start to get a nice smooth writer and reliable every time. But when you start talking about the Aventura and the Baileys, the lower end, to me, those are pretty much garbage. But that's just my personal input.
I once went to work at the car lot when I used to run manage a car lot. I got there and realized I hadn't brought my fountain pen with me. I couldn't make it to the end of the day, so I went to an Office Max and bought a Bailey just because it was there. I had to have a fountain pen. That's how sickly I was at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, I'm going to be. I've been asked to speak at a group of writers, people who are authors, and you know, I just been picking these up. $20. I mean, I think I found that for like $20 on one of the online sites, and so I mean, all right, $19, $18. I went ahead and picked them up and picked up like a third. So I got an Aventura and two Baileys.
Yeah, the good
For
pens.
me,
I like them.
I personally, I'm not going to use these. I've got a Bailey, don't like it. I've got an Aventura, hated it. But I personally, I'll give these away to somebody to enable them. Whoever doesn't have one and is not into them yet, but I'll give them away. But to me, they're nothing special. But for you know, $15 to $20, all right, I'll snatch it up and I'll give it away.
I paid $50, so you got a deal.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. Lena?
I was just showing you this is the Year of the Ox,
Okay.
and it's a Townsend, and you can see the ox's face in there.
Yes,
But,
beautiful. Yeah, I love the color.
Yeah, and they made beautiful colors. There were some really, really nice teal ones. I don't write with them a lot. I do, when I do pick them up, I really, really enjoy the way they write. But these are Townsend, so they're a little bit higher up the line as far as some of the other ones go.
yeah. These are a couple of Townsends that I've got here.
Those are beautiful.
Couple of Centuries.
Yeah.
I mean, like, and the Centuries write okay. They're decent. I'll still use them. I do put them in the rotation, but the Townsends, yeah, and these are a hard pull. And a Townsend, it's a really tight cap. It's a hard push and a hard pull. But yeah, at least they write quality. And if I was going to buy another cross for me personally to add to my collection, I wouldn't go any lower on their rung than that.
It's kind of ironic. I'm taking notes here while you're talking, and I look at my pen and it says cross. And I got it. I bought it. Oh yeah, Home Depot, not a Home Office Depot was closing up in the city.
Yep.
And they sold it to me for $25. I don't know what kind of pen it is. It's just, if I like it actually. It's a medium nib.
Yeah, I like
Right?
it.
But I'm kind of I'm just a novice here, but I like it. Not to question you. How do you know if it's a Bailey? It doesn't say anything other than cross.
I'm not sure if my Bailey has it imprinted on there or not. Troy.
Yeah, I'd have to look at mine. I got mine in the drawer. I mean, in the
It's on the
package,
box.
it says Bailey on the box itself for the ones that are sitting right here. But
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. Anything else?
thank you.
The ballpoint pen I love is still the Fisher Space Pen. They make several different styles of it, but that has a pressurized cartridge, so it can write underwater, it can write upside down, and that is my favorite. Someone mentioned before we go, someone mentioned how to flourish a Y. If you don't mind, I'll put this in the chat, but let me just share my screen 1 second, okay?
Sure.
I know we're just about ready to go,
Yeah.
but this way you'll be able to see this. Screen share. What I'm about to show you was done by Charles Paxton Zahner. Can you see that?
Oh, wow. Yes.
All right, you're talking about one of the masters of masters. Zahner died in 1911. His legacy is the Zahner Bloser Company
That's what the.
for writing. But you see that first Y? For those not used to looking at this, it's maybe harder to read, but that's ye Pharisee who say Zahner, the middle line, is of the has-beens. And it was sort of a joke he was doing, but one of the greatest all-around penmen that's ever lived is C.P. Zahner.
Beautiful.
Anyway, I'll stop there.
Would that be considered engrosser's script right there?
Yes, it's right now. People get confused with words and what I call the name game. And so I actually given talks on this, and you can actually most of my talks are on YouTube actually. But there are people so afraid to say what they think. Everybody would call that today some form of copperplate. And copperplate is, not that I want to get into this, but copperplate's a name that really doesn't represent what the actual style of script is. It originated from England with the roundhand script. And at that time, some of you may know this, but the way printing was done is the English writing master would write something with a feather quill pen, give it to the engraver. The engraver would then take that, transfer the image with a wet transfer technique, and then engrave the letters. So you weren't really looking at actual handwriting, but I've got specimens from past masters that I would defy you to think a computer didn't do it. Anyway,
that's amazing. Yeah, I get. I'll show some of my writing to some of my friends here, and they'll say, "Oh, that looks like the Constitution," and I know they weren't writing the Constitution with Spencerian. And that's all I do. I can't even write copperplate. I don't do any copperplate or any of the other. So it's interesting.
I've always said I don't care if you write, print, whatever. Just use a pencil. I actually like writing with pencils. Just write.
Just write. Right. Exactly.
I personally feel much more comfortable with pencils. I think it's just the lack of commitment if you make a mistake. Which is probably why whenever I think I've decided that I know I make a lot of mistakes in my writing, especially my letters. But I decided to keep them because I think that's part of what makes it very human. Because if you correct it, you gotta, write another piece of paper. And then at that point, it's just not the same or it doesn't look as natural as if you're writing it, because you write it as you thinking about it, as you going through the thoughts, so the person gets to receive the projection. And of course, when you're talking to someone, you obviously make mistakes as well, which is, like I said, I feel it's much more human to leave the mistakes in there and just make pretty designs to just cover it up and make it inconspicuous. But I like pencils, which is why pens, specifically fountain pens, kind of intimidate me for a little bit. But I'm hoping that as I write more to people, I'll get out of that habit and out of that mentality that commitment is not. There's nothing wrong with commitment.
Right. Joe, when you said you like a stiff nib, I know this is a whole nother topic, Larry. We could talk about the type of nibs you write with. Right. When I'm writing, my handwriting looks best with a stiff nib with some feedback, because I have more control of the pen on the paper, similar to a pencil. So when I like the platinum nib down the 3776, it's a stiff nib, but I don't, my pen doesn't fly all over the place, nor when it's really flexy and bouncy. I love the bounce, but it doesn't always translate into.
Well, to give you an idea, the Sailor the Sailor King of Pen, right? That only comes in medium and broad. And so I remember contacting Mike Masayama if he would grind that down to a Sailor EF nib, because Mike was trained by Sailor. And he says, Joe, the reason why Sailor doesn't do that, because the nib is so large. If you made an EF tip, the tines would not be easy to control. He says, I'll do it, but I don't recommend it. So that's why I don't really, I have King of Pens, but I can't get the EF on them. So, yeah.
Tony, you're a doctor. Your handwriting is not supposed to be legible.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm not a doctor. No, I'm anything but a doctor. I probably need to see a doctor, but that's a whole
We can
nother
get
story.
one. We can get one. Okay. All right. So real quick, thanks for bringing that up, Troy. I mean, Tony and Doc. I am finding new ways of upping our Zoom meetings to make them more interesting and to give out more information to people. And Nibs is going to be one of them. I will be calling upon people to give their input on Nibs, and then I will have a complete Zoom with people so they can share their Nibs and explain why they like that nib and what that nib does different than another type of nib like you were talking about, Doc. So you're going to be the first banger on that one. And that's going to be a real important one because I get a lot of email talking about nibs. And then, like I said, again, we're going to be doing the inks as well. That's coming up. And January, for the first time ever, Mr. Announcer is going to be making his debut. It's time to bring him out of the hole.
Make sure he's wearing a mask because we don't want to see what he
Oh,
looks like.
man.
Hey,
Oh, so people are just going berserk still.
Oh man,
You know?
this is awesome news. What wonderful news.
So
It'll be like the show Home Improvement with a neighbor Wilson. He's always behind the fence.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it.
So a little bit about Mr. Announcer. You know, he's a school teacher. He's also been ordained as a minister. You know, he's got all his college stuff. He's a musician as well. We used to be in the band. And that's where Doc and Tony, we need to all jam, do a little ACD.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll have to do that.
Geez. And what else? There was one more thing. Oh, I wanted to send out hello to Mia and Marilyn. We haven't seen them for a while, and just hopefully they're doing okay.
Yep.
All right. Anything else here? Back to, is Justin still here?
No, Justin
Justin.
had to leave.
Oh, he's
Justin had
gone.
to
He's
leave.
gone. Okay, so I can't ask that question. And Norman, I'm going to hit you with a message later. I got something for you and something for you, Doc. And let me see. And
Important announcement.
something for Troy. Yeah.
Yeah, and an important announcement for all of you that are on here that don't know or haven't remembered that Larry's announced on the 24th of this month, correct? The 24th?
19th.
Oh, it's the 19th. Forgive me. And on the 19th of this month, we have a Zoom meeting with Dante Del Vecchio.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, that's something else. Yeah, the 24th on the
Yeah, I
Sunday
thought
at
it was the
1 p.m.
24th.
Yeah,
Yeah, the 24th.
Now,
Dante will join us.
Starting right now. Okay.
What's that? I'm sorry, Richard, you said?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Dante will be on, and we're going to be able to pick his brain about how he comes up with it. Now, Joe, you know Dante, don't you?
I'm not well, but I do know him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a fascinating man.
and also on the 10th, we're going to have Tim Cullen come on as well, and you'll get more info on that. On the 19th, Tony and myself will be doing another pin meetup. So y'all come on in and have a good time. I've got emails that people would like to start seeing more of us do this because they have a good time here. And it's a great stress reliever, and they can talk about what they love. And that's a cool thing. If that brings any kind of joy to people, that's what we're all about. Okay. So anything else? Oh yeah, back to December. December is going to be a very important month. And first of all, let me give a special thank you to Lena from Pen Boutique. Back then, Mr. Announcer was doing a giveaway with 2 inks, wasn't it?
no, just the one, the Tokyo Blue. I
But
think.
we ended up with 2. Yeah, we gave
2 winners,
Yeah,
yes.
2 winners. So, and those we were buying from Pen Boutique. Well, Lena got a hold of me They just came in and she already got those delivered. Lena went ahead and she paid for the inks, plus she gave them a gift card. Now, can you beat that?
No.
Thank you, Lena.
Oh.
Thank you, Lena, for
Yeah.
all your help. That really helps me more
Yeah.
than you know. So that was real cool. But in Christmas, I'm still working how I'm going to do this. But whoever is on that Zoom when we do it, we're going to have a little Christmas party.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's going to
That'd
be
be
a little different. It's going to be fun. So you want to attend. Yeah, I think you're going to really enjoy it.
That'll be fun.
And then back to Doc over here. Doc, believe it or not, I watch all your stuff when you post it. I really look at it and I just say, Doc, when did you start learning to do all this?
It started originally with the love of biblical manuscripts. And so back in the early 90s, and then the whole idea of the romance of a handwritten letter came into my brain. And that's how I got hooked up with what we call copper plate script or engrosser script. And I could definitely go into more detail about that. It started with me and IAMPITH back in '99. Because at the time I went back for my additional degrees and I was in the Department of Biochemistry and Biophysics. I walked down there to see someone and I noticed this beautiful handwritten placard that was on the desk. I said, wow, did you do that? And she says, yeah. So she introduced me to some of her other friends and she told me that in a week from now, IAMPITH convention, for those of you who may not know what IAMPITH is, it's called the International Association of Master Penmen, Engrossers, and Teachers of Handwriting. And it's a very threatening name, but it's not. It's great for the novice. I went there as a novice. Everybody was so helpful. And I am one of their historians, along with Mike So. And by the way, guys, and Larry, if you ever want me to give a brief overview of Western handwriting, I'd be more than happy to do that.
Well, that, right there, let me hold you for a minute. Yeah. And I'm going to message you because I'm going to have you on about that. Yeah, that's real important. I want you on for that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had tons of PowerPoint files because I've done it so much, and I wouldn't belabor it too much. And normally I give an hour talk, but I'd chop it down to maybe 15 minutes so we have discussion if you want. But I'm more than happy to do that. So,
well, be prepared. And last but not least, if all of y'all that's on here come to see me in Fort Worth, I'll buy y'all dinner. And we'll have wine and drinks. Yes, yes.
That sounds like a good deal to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good deal. I've seen recently, Doc, you had your birthday, and that would look like a heck of a dinner.
Yeah. Actually, my 60th birthday was off the charts. I mean, I let the chef do whatever he wanted. And it would take too long to go in here, but we had some amazing, amazing wines. I love wine and food. And for me, a good night of wine, food, and good friends is about as good as it gets, except for fountain pens and calligraphy stuff. And where else can you go in the world and sit there and talk about a lowercase s for an hour? And nobody thinks it's crazy. So
I gotta say, I was at IAMPITH for a week. For all of you that are pen pals, I've already written you about IAMPITH. It was my first time there, and it was everything I've always wanted, and then it was frustrating as all get. Only because I wanted to be able to execute everything, but to see people that like Bill Kemp, whose teacher was Bill Lilly, and one of the greatest penmen of the century, and an incredible man who was just. He was just a regular guy. He wasn't like, check me out, I'm a great penman. He was a bus driver and did all other kind of stuff. But yet he was a fabulous teacher and just to see these guys as inspiration. Jake Weidman. I don't know if all of you are familiar with Jake Weidman. I took his class and I had the pen, Doc, that you and I both have. That he and Ryan Kruzak did together.
Right. Beautiful pen.
And I took that pen in there, and he demonstrated it for everyone how he had done that etching. It was really cool. But bottom line, just like pen shows that we're all familiar about going to pen shows, IAMPITH is the same thing. You really connect with people that have a passion for writing, and it isn't scary as you might think. Like he says, there's a lot of everyone's just extremely friendly and helpful.
Yeah, and by the way, you probably don't know this, Tony, but Bill Lilly was also my mentor.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, I've gotten a chance to speak to a number of those guys. We can talk about that some future time, but
Sure.
it's, Mike Soul, John DeCalabas, and if you guys, I'd be more than happy to give you a talk on some of that stuff.
Yeah, John is experiencing some problems with his hands, I understand. He's not, it's awful.
So Norm, again, I want to tell you again that I still use that pen. Believe it or not, every week it's inked up. So to Norm, to Dr. Joe, and to Troy, I'm still talking with Mo, and they're getting the equipment back, and they have to order everything. So once it all comes together, you'll get yours. So I haven't forgot it. I'm sorry it's taking so long. It's coming. It's going to be a big bird. And for Tony, you're going to get absolutely zero.
I got too much. Hey, my newest pen, just before we go, I got to show this because I'm a sucker for the writer editions. I got the Agatha Christie. I somehow got it from a guy in LA, and he had listed it for the wrong price. And he said, this is from my collection. It's been in my safe. And I told him, I can't wait to ink it up. He goes, you're going to ink up that pen? I said, well, that's what we do with pens. We write with them. He said, well, you're not a collector. I said, well, I'm a user. So
user collector. Yeah,
that's right. And it writes absolutely wonderful.
Also, what I'm waiting for now, I've done a little bit and put it on Facebook. I'll be doing a lot of the wonderful world of Robert Oster inks. So you'll be seeing a lot of that. And I will most likely, depending what comes in, be doing a lot of giveaways of that as well. What else is going on? So people leave comments or emails and ask me, what do I do all day? Do I just get on here and talk about anything? No, I have to plan everything, and I'm actually working on what I'm going to be doing, planning everything out, how I want it to be done, who I need to go to and talk about certain things. On pen cases, I like to get the history, and that takes time because I need the whole family history, talk about whatever I'm going to be reviewing. So there's a lot of work that I spend doing this. And sometimes I feel so bad. It's really hard for me to do this. But like today, when I got on here and I told you, Tony, I didn't feel so hot, but it's starting to go away. And you know why it's going away? Because of y'all. Y'all made me feel good inside. And I don't think about, what's hurting me. I focus on things that I enjoy and that keeps me focused and makes me happy and energizes me. So you all guys are a blessing to me, So I want to thank you over and over again. You guys are really cool. And Joe, thank you. And you know what, Joe? I'm a fan of bow ties.
Oh, yeah.
I'm wearing my next bow tie when you come on. I promise.
That's all I wear. That's all. And by the way, Tony, I posted my original receipt for the Agatha Christie in Vermeil onto the site. I bought it when it first came out in '93, and it sold with the Vermeil edition $750 back then. I also have the original receipt for my Hemingway Mont Blanc. That cost $424 or something like that back then. In 92, I think it was.
I got the Hemingway. It was a consignment deal from our local pen store. I made them an offer. And then they gave me the box, and I saw on the end of the box the original price. I thought, wow. I
know.
Well, folks, we're going to have to go. I got to go take some meds, but spread the word about the Zoom. I think I'm going to speak for myself. I have a lot of fun. To meet you all, to get to know you personally, to get to know what your likes are, your dislikes, your personalities. It works well, I think. And, this is a great place where we can come and enjoy everybody and just have a good time, right? And again, I'm really thankful for Doc to be on here. Doc, I've been following you for years and just had enough nerve to ask you.
Oh, no problem whatsoever, Larry. No problem. I appreciate it.
All right, folks, anybody want to say anything before we split? Our former councilman, anything from you?
Yeah.
Former.
I mean, a future, I apologize,
Future.
future. I'll edit that out, future councilman.
Actually, I just had a couple quick questions. Joe, I'm assuming since you're in Augusta, I'm assuming you're not originally from Augusta because you certainly don't sound like it.
Well, I've got a Brooklynese dialect that I worked hard to get rid of some of it. But no, I'm from the Northeast. I come from a town called Hoboken, New Jersey, Sinatra's hometown. And I spent time up there. But no, I've been Midwest for about, I came down here 6 years ago to Augusta. I love it down here, but I was up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin for 12 years at Marquette Down School. And by the way, I don't know if you guys noticed, there's quite a bit of Penn people in Georgia. I mean, Ryan Krusak's here, Jonathan Brooks, who I had dinner with the other night.
Hey, he's just across the border. Aiken, South Carolina is just across the border.
His rods, his material is going crazy. I mean, I think Larry Yost was speaking about that. I watched a video where they talked about any Leonardo made with any of Brooks's, blanks keep them in the store. So there's a lot of people in this area, and there was somebody here from Georgia, right? Who said they're from Georgia?
Who was it? Oh, he's gone, I think, already, but he was here. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I will be at the Atlanta Penn show. I don't have a lot of time to go to other shows, but no, it's great to be able to do this. You wonder, would we be doing this without the pandemic? It might change the way I work and go to meetings now. I used to have to drive my car to a different port campus and meet up with folks. Now, most of the time, it's just a Teams meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and Stan, real quick, I'm going to be sending you some messages because I am so curious about Russian food.
Okay.
Believe it or not. Yeah. From other countries, I'm interested how the kind of food they eat. I have a friend of mine in Portugal. We talk about that. That's just my thing. I love food.
Tony and Larry, is it possible for you guys to send us the next couple of months worth of meetings so we can add that to our calendar?
Oh, yeah.
Events?
We're going to get those out. Now,
I think send them on Instant Messenger is a real nice way because that everyone's on that.
What I do is I send the people I know that are in friends on my messenger. I'll send them messages. I put it on my Facebook group, the Fountain Pen group, and then the Pen Pal group. Then I put it on my feed page. Then I do a YouTube, and then I put it on Instagram and on Twitter. So if you're not on my list, you can ask to be friends and put on there because I get that group together like Tony does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be great if we could get a couple of dates in advance, though, like maybe to the end of the year. And so we could plan accordingly.
Okay, so plan this one down. All right. The 19th, 6:30 p.m., Tony and myself will be on.
Yep.
So that means everybody's welcome.
Yep.
October 19th?
Yep. And then the 24th will be with Dante.
With Dante, yeah. Now,
Dante,
Doc, if you're going to be on, let me know so I can have my bow tie.
Will do. Just remind
All right.
me.
Anything else, my friends?
I was going to ask Stan a question. Stan, I didn't get to talk to you after I saw you in DC. What did you end up getting in DC?
Honestly, nothing. I was looking at the LeBron pen and I was circling at the Frank's desk and I ended up not picking it up. I tried I forgot the model, but it had a titanium nib and I really liked writing with it. So I'm going to get one of those pens, but it was more of a trying this nib, looking at this, asking this question more so than getting something.
Gotcha.
I'm definitely going to get some stuff at the Philadelphia Pen Show this coming January.
All right. And I think it was Marie, go Sox.
Yes.
Yeah,
That was
go
me.
Sox.
Yes.
Thank you.
And go Bucks until they play us.
Yeah.
Stan,
Okay.
you're in Philadelphia?
Actually, Boston leading 3-0.
Oh, good.
Yay.
Stan,
Yeah.
are you in Philadelphia? Did I hear that correctly? You're in Philly?
Yeah, I'm from Philly, yes.
My alma mater is
Tony,
University
before
of
we go,
Pennsylvania
a
Town
special
School.
thank you for you.
Oh,
my
nice,
friend.
nice.
Hey, you're dynamite, and I appreciate all the help you do.
Who's
Thank
that?
you, Tom. Thank you. And Troy, thank you, my friend. You're a good guy, and I've really been praying for you. I really seriously been praying for you. In fact, I'll share this with you. And it's hard for me to do. I get on my knees and ask God, it's time for a change. And that's where you come in, Troy.
Well, thanks, Larry, and I've been praying for you as well.
I know, thank you. It was really an honor for me to meet Troy and his family. And I hope you can come again because Troy, I think you're the best guy. Really, you know your stuff. And back to Norman.
Thanks, Larry.
Norman, thank you, Norman. All the way from Australia. Send me a kangaroo next time.
Yeah, well, I got to, as Mr. Announcer said, I got to cut air holes in the box to get the roux over to you. But all things possible.
And again,
But,
Dr. Joe, thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. I know you're busy, sir. And to everybody on here, thank you and God bless each and every
God
one
bless.
of you.
Thank you
God
all.
bless.
Thank you, Larry.
God bless you
for making us
too.
so
Larry.
much.
Bye-bye,
Thank you,
guys.
Larry.
Bye, guys.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.